Right.
Okay. I want to switch you over before you go. I want to switch you over to the USDA stuff, but join my wine club, everybody. Join the wine club, AllisonWinePromo.com. New year, new bottle of wine. You get 6 bottles every 3 months. They're all hand selected for the kind of wines or foods that I like, which is clean processing techniques, no added dyes and natural fermentation and no filtration. Some of these wines, like the grapes, are grown between 6,000 and 9,000 feet. So they're extremist altitude. They're all in pretty remote places. So there's fewer pesticides used out in those places. And the vineyards, some are over 200 years old. Families that have been making these wines for a very, very long time, 5th, 6th generation. And they all come with a great story. But the greatest story is that you keep the show going. You may not be a wine drinker. You just join the wine club. You get your 6 bottles, and then you have one as a gift for the next 3 months. You'll get your next 6 bottles, and you'll still have all those gifts. So you'll be ready for Christmas next year. If you're empty-handed this year, AllisonWinePromo.com. Okay. So, yes, we all heard the news several months ago that the USDA or somebody with the Trump administration was calling people and trying to figure out who might lead the USDA. And one of those people that we heard about was Joel, who is right here. And you see articles like this. It came from Homestead Living. Breaking: Joel Salatin appointed advisor to the secretary for USDA. And so some of the news was correct and some of the news was not so correct. But I think everybody was excited that there could even be a sliver of truth to Joel Salatin being contacted to potentially use, or maybe they were just doing it so the rest of us would think there's some fairness to the system when there really isn't. I don't know. But Joel, what really happened? Tell us what happened behind the scenes. What were we missing?
All right. So what really happened was that about a month before the election, I got a call from a lady purporting. She said, I'm on the Trump transition team, and we've been tasked with putting together a USDA, cabinet. And, would you be willing to serve? I mean, the initial contact was something pretty high, either secretary or, one of the major departments, NRCS or something like that. And I said, no, absolutely. I said, I'm not interested in that. I don't do well with committees. I'm not a bureaucrat. I'm just not interested. So a week later, she called back and she asked again. And I said, no, I'm not interested. Gave her the same story. She said, well, do you have any names that you could give me? So I gave her half a dozen names of people I thought would be really, really good. And Daniel, our son, found out that I'd gotten these calls. I'm not sure how he found out, but anyway, he did. And it's one thing to take your kid around behind the woodshed as a parent, but he took me behind the woodshed and said, Dad, look, you've been fighting this thing all your life, and you get a chance to go and actually, do something big and open door. God opens a door for you. You're not going to walk through it. This is not even good stewardship. You're supposed to take advantage of these things. And so I had a bit of a come to Jesus moment, and so when they contacted me back, I said, okay, look, if you've got something that's not bureaucratic, that I'm not, running a committee or having to go up to DC all the time, I'm okay to go in. And so they said there were these 6 advisory positions that are not bureaucratic. They're just called advisor to the secretary. And they said, we'll put you in. Can we put you in for one of those? I said, yes, you can put me in for one of those. And so that was it. I haven't heard anything from anybody since, except I did get a call from the Trump team saying, please don't say anything more about this because, nothing's for sure. Well, then the election happened. A month later, the election happened and he ended up winning. And I haven't heard anything since and don't expect to hear anything. I was probably one of who knows how many names. So, my sense is that he probably looked at RFK Jr. and said, look, how about you, you're going to go in as health secretary. How about, your team putting together, something on the farm level. And okay. So, because I was friendly with RFK Jr. people, I was not friendly with I'm not enemy with the Trump, but I had friends within the very that were close associates of RFK Jr. I mean, I've been on his podcast a couple of times. We know each other. We like each other. We appreciate each other. And so I think that's what developed. But now that Brooke Rollins has gone in as the nominee, my concern now is that much of what RFK Jr. wants to do in food will be sabotaged in the farm sector. Time will tell. We'll see. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on it, but it ended up they had 15 names in the pot for Secretary of Agriculture. 2 of them were, I would say, my friends or people who think like I do, and 13 of them were on the opposite side. And like the way I like to say it is, 2 of them had vision but no money and no clout, and 13 of them had no vision but they had money and clout. And so Brooke Rollins is in. We'll see how things go. I'm not sure she knows a lot about agriculture, or whatever she knows. She's a Texas A&M grad, animal livestock. I suspect she's fairly well inculcated with, industrial, with industry think, and that's just everything I can see. She's actually a little bit of an unknown. Everybody in the ag community is trying to figure out, where is she? So that could either be good in that she's malleable and maybe would have some interest in our side. And maybe or it could be that she will very quickly, move into the other side and become a shill for the industry, which is, of course, what Tom Vilsack has been. So time will tell. We'll see.
All right. When you're talking about, could you go a little bit deeper into the whole, the food farming conflict with RFK Jr.? Like, what would be your greatest concern, the outcome of that?
Well, I'll give you one. RFK Jr. has vowed. He's definitely put SNAP in his sights. The fact that almost $10 billion a year of SNAP money, that's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's the old food stamp program. Mm-hmm. Almost $10 billion of SNAP goes directly to Coke, Pepsi, PepsiCo, and Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew. $10 billion. And Wall Street Journal is already carrying, huge articles about the fight developing in the beverage industry. But here's the problem. SNAP is not Health and Human Services. SNAP is USDA. All right. And so Brooke Rollins will be in charge of SNAP. RFK Jr. is over here on Health and Human Services. So those are the kind of things. So if she doesn't want to take on that kind of battle, then that's going to be her jurisdiction, not his. So those are the kinds of things that I see, and I am concerned about trading one set of regulations for another. There are people that are just on RFK Jr.'s side demanding that glyphosate be outlawed and things like that. And I'm as I'm a pretty libertarian minded. I don't like the outlawing stuff. What I like is just get the government to quit subsidizing the bad stuff.
Get your greenpasture.org promo code Allison, 10% off. Okay. Green Pasture, one of my favorite companies on the face of this earth. We have been taking in our family the fermented cod liver oil and concentrated butter oil blend for over a decade. I used to get cavities all the time. It significantly helped my kids. They take it every day. I tell them their teeth are going to fall out if they don't. I don't know if that's the right thing to say or not as a parent. But anyway, you ate a lot of candy, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you're keto, carnivore, whatever. You didn't eat anything over the holidays, but maybe you did. And you're like, you know what? I want to start the new year off right. I want to get something that's going to help me with vitamins and good omega-3s and all that good stuff. If you're just taking a fish oil, not all fish oils are created equal. This is a fermented cod liver oil, and it is mixed with a high vitamin D butter oil. It's processed the way that Dr. Weston Price, a biological dentist turn of the century, said would help his patients that were suffering from cavities from industrialized food. Also a great idea to get off of processed foods. But anyway, you can get 10% off this product. I think you get an additional 10% when you buy a certain amount, like 5 of the little jars, but you'll go through them and then you'll always have one ready for you. Greenpasture.org, promo code Allison. Thanks again to Green Pasture. They are a very health freedom of speech oriented company, and they are just really wonderful to work with. So always have appreciated having them as sponsors for the show.